So for this week's 2 Minute Tuesday, I'm going to talk about a JB4 versus a tune. I'm going to keep it short, concise, to the point, and all the need to know information. Because if you want to know about all the not as relevant information, I'm pretty sure you can find 3 pages of it on Volkswagen Vortex. I'm going to try to explain this to the best of my knowledge. Essentially what JB4 is doing is that it's piggybacking onto your current stock tune rather than remapping or changing any ECU components. And it's kind of like a virus, and your stock tune is the host. So rather than it remapping or changing any code of your ECU directly, what it's doing is when you install it, you're plugging it into 3 vital points of where the computers would talk to each other, and you're kind of intercepting that signal, and the current or the communication is gonna run through the JB4, and the JB4 is gonna try to trick the car and try to tell it that it's underpowering. And now normally what the car is gonna do is try to get back its normal values that it's set for. So the car thinks it's making too little power, and in order to regain what it's supposed to make from the factory, it's gonna overcompensate and give you more power. And therefore, but in reality, you're not making any underpower or anything. In reality, you're actually getting more power, but then the JB4 is just tricking the ECU into thinking that it's making too little power. I sound like one of those mad scientists in the movies that try to explain the concept to the protagonist, and they're like, in English please. So again, in simpler terms, the JB4 is going to trick the car to think it's making too little power, so that the car will now overcompensate it and giving you more boost and more, whatever else it does to give you power. But in reality, you're not making too little power, so now you're getting a boost of power. And this whole time your ECU is not remapped or changed or any of the code or anything like that. Now on the flip side, a tune, whether it be a pro tune or just on-the-shelf tune, it's going to directly change your ECU. So it's going to change your air-fuel ratio, your mapping, and the RPMs and turbos and all those technicalities directly of your car. And one of the biggest concerns with people tuning their car, whether it be JB4 or a full tune, is warranty. And I'm going to tell you right now that there is no absolute right or wrong answer. There's no absolute that is like, okay, JB4 100% guarantee will not void your warranty, or 100% a tune will void your warranty. It's not as black and white. It's not as just yes or no. It's a lot of different factors come into it, and one of the biggest is which dealership you go to and what your problem is that you're going in for. A general rule that I've heard from the dealership that I went to, which is, I'll pop it up right here, is that if their tune or the mod wasn't the cause of the problem, it'll most likely get fixed. For example, your tune is not going to cause a problem with your heated seats, so if you have a problem with heated seats, most likely that will get fixed. Or it's not going to cause a problem with your interior lights, that will probably get fixed even if you're tuned or not. When people say a JB4 is undetectable, it's kind of more like a JB4 won't affect the flash counter that you can find if you use a VCBS, because it's not directly reflashing your ECU. So if anybody plugs it in, it'll still say that your car has been flashed once or 0, which should be what it says from the factory. So if you remove it from your car before bringing it in, basically they don't really have evidence that your car has been or has not been flashed or tuned or JB4'd. Now on the flip side, again, when you tune your car, it's going to increase that flash counter, and the dealership has the tools to check it. And if you're coming in for like an engine or transmission failure, they can basically assume that your tune was the one that caused the problems, and therefore they can deny you warranty. But then again, that's the basis of how it is. There's still a lot of chance and luck that goes into it. Now in terms of which one is better, again, it's not really black and white like that. There's no absolute yes, a tune is better, or yes, JB4 is better. It all depends on the person and their needs. Me personally, I've had both. I was using JB4 for like 1.5 years, and then I got a tune. And I personally like a tune better because it's a lot more power than what I had on JB4. Even though on the JB4 I was on map 2, it was the more aggressive map. But then again, JB4 also has a map 6 where it's like a custom pro tune map that you can adjust yourself. You can email the JB4 people and they'll give you, to help you with the values and what to set to get your own kind of pro tune. And you can do that all right at home. Once you get your JB4, just go right down to your car and install it on the spot and you're done. Whereas a tune, you would have to go to your tuner, and some hours they might not be open, some days they might not be open. There are tunes that you can flash right at home. I think Cobb, Unitronic, and I think Stratified, and maybe a couple more. But for the most part, especially a pro tune, you would have to go through your tuner. And then after all that, when it's all said and done, a JB4, you can resell it. That's what I did. Once I got my tune, I sold my JB4 and got back some money, and that was pretty nice. Whereas a tune, it's more or less one car specific. So there's that. And then on top of all that, for all the fast people out there, DSG, with a JB4 you don't need a TCU tune. So the retail price of a JB4 is like 400 for something. If you buy a used, it's probably even cheaper, maybe like 30 something. And then when you get a tune, you do need a DSG tune with it. So it's gonna be like, let's say 500 for the tune and then another 500 for the DSG tune. So that's $1,000 from the jump versus, you know, maybe like 4 something. And that is essentially all the basic information that you should need to get you to start tuning or help you make a decision from either JB4 or a tune. And I'm not saying which one is better or not. I personally like a tune better, but you know, you can do whatever you want with your money. For all I care, go get a tune and then JB4 and then tune it again. Go run a stage 2 without a downpipe. Up to you. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far, and then catch you guys in the next one.